Good day and welcome to this session on the need and theories of relationship. At the end of this session, you should be able to identify the need for relationship as well as list and explain relationship management theories. So, as organizations offer goods or services to customers, the goal is not just to acquire any type of customer, or it's just not to offer goods to customers and then it will end there. The goal of organizations is to acquire and retain new customers who would have profit potential for the organization. And some organizations also acquire and retain customers for some other strategic purposes. So the goal of organizations is not merely to just offer goods and services to customers, but is to acquire them, retain them, and to grow their customer base so as to achieve their profit motive. And it should be noted that as goods are offered to customers, not all of the organization's customers are of equal importance. Some of the customers may be worth recruiting and retaining, and some of them might be just one-off customers. So you have to know some approaches and some approaches to adopt and how you manage your relationship with all your customers in your customer base. So you should be noted that businesses might want to develop relationship with some of their customers, or they might want to develop a certain level of relationship with their customers because of the following reasons. Firstly, suppliers are able to develop a better understanding of their customer requirements and expectations when they develop or build mutual relationship with their customers. And then customers are also able to come to understand what a supplier can do for them when they have a constructive relationship with their suppliers or their firms which they deal with. And then thirdly, suppliers become better placed to identify and satisfy customer requirements profitably, selling more products and services to the retained customer. And this is possible as a result of the relationships that exist between the business and the customer. And it should be noted that over time, as relationships deepen, trust and commitment between the parties is likely to grow. Hence, aside or taking all of these in perspective, it should be noted that if relationships are developed with customers, the organization's revenue and profit streams tend to become more secure and stable because you are assured that your customers are likely to return to you to purchase the products or services that you offer to them. So to be able to understand the type of relationship to adopt in a given circumstance, the relationship management theories have been propounded to offer insights and perspective as to how suppliers and customers interact in daily interactions or daily relationships between them. And some of the theories or schools of thoughts are being discussed in this session, some of which include the Industrial Marketing and Purchasing School, the Nordic School, the Anglo-Australian School, the North American School, and the Asian School. So first of all, we will discuss the industrial marketing and purchasing school. So it basically focuses on business to business relationships, how entities engage with each other, and it first emerged in the late 1970s when some researchers, European researchers, began investigating business to business relationships with the simple goal of describing them accurately. And these are some of the contributors to the school. So the Industrial Marketing and Purchasing School, they argue that business to business transactions occur within the context of broader long-term relationships, which are in turn situated within the broader network of relationships. So, in essence, their argument is that organizations do not exist in isolation. As organizations interact with each other, they should realize or they should note that they also exist within a broader scope of other organizations. So they have to make sure that their interactions emanate or lead to certain linkages, or they ensure that the activities are tied to each other and ensure a successful outcome is achieved. So they discuss or they describe that a relationship between a supplier and customer, and mind you, their orientation is about business to business and not mainly about business to customers. So they realize that the interaction between suppliers and customers are composed of activity lengths, which is used to describe the situation where businesses' activities are linked together, and hence they should sort of synthesize and synchronize their activities so as to ensure the success of the relationship. Then it's also composed of actor bonds, where the relationship or the interactions between the parties will lead to bonds that will develop and form over time and has to be maintained. And then it also consists of resource ties, where relationships imply that both parties will exchange some sort of resources, and resources might be tangible or intangible. So where relationship means that you are exchanging employees, you are learning from each other among others. So they describe or they propose some characteristics of relationships, where the first one means buyers and sellers are both active participants in transactions who are pursuing solutions to their problem rather than simply reacting to the other party's influence. So this point is seen in the composition of business to business relationships, where we saw the actor bonds, activity links, and then resource ties. Then another characteristic is that relationships between buyers and sellers are long term, and hence they have to be maintained and repaired over time so that the goals of both parties are realized in the end. And then buyer-seller links often become institutionalized into a set of rules that each party expects the other to perform, with expectations that adaptations will be made on an ongoing business basis. So the various compositions are explained here as I've described in the earlier session. The second school of thought that is discussed is the Nordic school or the Nordic school. So the idea is also that service is a significant component of transactions between suppliers and customers. So it should be noted that the Nordic school not only emphasizes business to business engagement, but also emphasizes business to customer situations, and they realize that both parties, whether a business to business situation or a business to customer situation, require service to each other, so that it is not a one way or it's not an arm's length activity where one party seeks to exploit or leverage their relationship, but both parties need to realize that there is a service being offered or there is a service being realized between them. So the Nordic school identifies three major characteristics of commercial relationships. That is interaction, where there is interfirm exchanges between either businesses or the business and customers. And then we have dialogue, where they are constantly in communication with each other so as to perform each other's services and realize the value gains from the relationship. And then we have value, where both parties realize that the relationship is of a mutual nature and it is not a one-way nature. Hence, the requirements of the customer or the requirements of one business would lead to the outcomes that they expect to receive from the other business. So both parties have to create value in the relationship for one another or each other. Then the Anglo-Australian school also takes the view that companies not only form relationship with customers but also with a wide range of stakeholders. Hence, they have to take into consideration the various interests and requirements of these stakeholders in addition to the customers that they serve. And they also realize that stakeholder interests or stakeholder relationships will vary in terms of the intensity. Hence, the relationship that is built with an employee will be different from the relationship that is built with shareholders, and this relationship will be different from suppliers, buyers, as well as government. So they suggest that organizations must satisfy 6 major stakeholders. They classify their stakeholders into 6. That is their internal markets, which comprises employees as stakeholders, supplier or alliance market, which comprise their suppliers, joint venture partners, and others. And then recruitment market, which comprise the labor market, places that they seek to acquire their labor. The referral market, that is word of mouth advocates and cross referral networks who are likely to recommend and introduce new customers to their products or services. And then influence markets, people who have potential to influence significantly the activities of the firm, and this include government, regulators, shareholders, and business press. Then the customer market, which include the intermediaries and end users of the products offered by the organization. So classification of these markets are described here. Then we move on to the North American school. So they also propound or propose that good relationships between organizations and their stakeholders or in their these relationship actors helps to reduce costs of the organization. Hence, there is a need for trust and commitment towards this between the organization's relationship partners so as to realize the value from the relationship. So they view relationships as tools that a well-run company can manipulate so as to achieve competitive advantage. So they do not joke. This school proposes that organizations do not have to joke with their relationship because they can gain a competitive edge from the relationships that they develop with their actors or partners. Then the final one is the Asian school, and this theory or this school of thought emphasizes that people from a family friendship, same clan fellowship, are connected to each other due to informal social relationships which impose them to follow a reciprocal obligation to acquire the resources by exchanging favors and cooperation. So this school of thought emphasizes reciprocity, where both parties would realize that they are sort of interdependent on each other. Hence, they have to form constructive interpersonal relationships with each other so as to get the resources that they require in performing their various activities successfully. So in essence, this school of thought is based on the Buddhist and Confucian teachings regarding the conduct of interpersonal interactions. So they refer to the informal social bonds and reciprocal obligations which exist between the various actors, and these result from the given social context that exists, and they exist among families, friendship, and clan members, and they are typical in the Asian context of conducting businesses or a relationship between businesses and customers. So in summary, we have discussed the need for relationship as well as listed and explained relationship management theories. Thank